Good grief, this bright side video's thumbnail needs a video of its own. Well, not really, but you get what I mean. Anyways, welcome back. We're going to be revisiting our good old friend Bright Side, so let's go.
Now, dinosaurs ruled our planet for over 165 million years, and some walk on our planet even today.
Oh, I can tell that this thing is not a dinosaur, and it also seems AI generated.
Well, at least some of their descendants. Our modern birds evolved from what used to be a scary group of meat-eating dinosaurs we know as theropods.
These scenes over here are definitely AI generated. To be fair, Bright Side has a lot of income in reserve.
It all started during the Mesozoic era, about 250 million years ago, when a group of creatures called dinosaurs roamed Earth.
They are pronounced dinosauromorphs, not dinosaur morphs.
They didn't look like those dinos that might have come to your mind, like Brontosaurus or T-Rex, but that's the group dinosaurs evolved from. These creatures walked on all fours and were as big as house cats.
With this video, you're going to expect a lot of AI-generated footage, so be on the lookout for that. But so far, this video seems kind of legit.
They didn't look as friendly, though, considering they were more like weird lizards with long, thin limbs.
Neither of these two that you showed are dinosauromorphs, what dinosauromorphs actually looked like before dinosaurs evolved.
As you'd expect, this group wasn't exactly at the top of the food chain, but they were really fast and agile, which helped them survive. Over time, they adapted and started walking upright, so their legs were under their bodies instead of out to their sides. And over time, dinosauromorphs started growing long tails and bigger leg muscles. Their necks became stronger to support the new position they were in.
Even with all these AI-generated stuff, these stuff still look terrible and do not represent the evolution of dinosaurs. This in particular shown right now, right here.
And they even got extra hip bones that helped them move faster and more efficiently. That's when dinosaurs came on the scene.
And even if this is AI generated, this creature over here in the bottom left corner is just an absolute monstrosity. Look at this crazy hybrid of Triceratops, T-Rex, and Stegosaurus. It's like if there was a failed prototype of the Ultimasaurus.
Somewhere between 240 and 230 million years ago. Their name comes from the word dinosauria, which means terrible lizard. The oldest dinosaur fossils belong to these fellows that lived in Argentina. This one is even older, but we're still not sure if it's a real dinosaur or its relative, dinosauromorph.
Relative. Dinosauromorph. This is absolutely stupid.
Now, considering the size of their ancestors, dinosaurs weren't large at the beginning, more like dogs or horses. There weren't many species back then, so if
this AI-generated model over here just looks absolutely atrocious. And I really mean it.
you could go back to that time, you'd see a bunch of reptiles walking around on two legs. But as time went by,
and also don't forget these horrific CGI of these creatures. With the amount of budget that the Soul Publishing has, they could have made content with much higher quality than this. They could have made a so much better animation.
they adjusted to different environments, and we got more interesting groups. For example, small and fast predators, like this guy. They all fall into the category of archosaurs, a group that also includes pterosaurs. Yup, their name may not imply it, but these are not dinosaurs.
Which is correct to Brightside's credit. See, I'm fair.
As some dinosauromorphs evolved into dinosaurs, they got certain advantages, like arms. They could do much more thanks to that. Some could catch prey using their hands, others could grasp branches. Now, the freedom they got by moving their arms later helped some of them evolve into birds and start flying.
But then this guy just showed pterosaurs when he's talking about birds.
Dinosaurs were probably warm-blooded. It means they could stay active all the time. They didn't depend on the conditions around them like, for example, reptiles do.
You mean just crocodiles? Dinosaurs are still reptiles.
The latter are cold-blooded, and they have to rely on their surroundings to regulate their body temperature. Dinosaurs didn't rule the animal kingdom for the first tens of millions of years of their existence either. Crocs were at the top of the food chain back then.
There is another group of archosaurs called Velociraptors, which dominated during the Triassic.
Then the Jurassic period hit, and new kinds of dinosaurs showed up, like those giant plant-eating dinosaurs. For example, sauropods. You know them, dinos with long tails and necks that could eat plants at different heights, such as Brachiosaurus.
Brachiosaurus looks more robust, much more robust than the shrink-wrapped menace.
Allosaurus is another famous dino from that time you will probably recognize. Spikes on the tail, bony plates on the back, you know, good old Stegosaurus. The Jurassic period was that time when dinosaurs started to get bigger and bigger.
They were already getting bigger during the Triassic, but they really started to diversify during the Jurassic, as there are no other top predators.
Then the Cretaceous period came along, and finally, these magnificent beasts reached the peak of their fame.
There is still the Jurassic-Cretaceous boundary.
That was the time when the mighty T-Rex took the throne and got to the top of the food chain.
Only during the end of the Cretaceous. There were other dinosaurs that preceded the T-Rex, obviously, that did not evolve to the T-Rex. There's, of course, the Spinosaurus, the Carcharodontosaurus, both of them coexisted. There is the Giganotosaurus.
T-Rex probably lived around 28 years, but it reached adult size really fast. Now, it wasn't easy to survive back then. T-Rex falls into the category of tyrannosaurs, and scientists have found out those fellas were fierce even when they were at a pretty young age. They discovered a fossil of a teenage tyrannosaur that was 75 million years old.
Not the T-Rex, just a tyrannosaur.
And it had two baby dinosaurs inside its stomach.
It was in actuality a juvenile Gorgosaurus with remains of two small centipedes. You should just use that instead of, I don't know, slapping in a Tyrannosaurus skeleton that has its tail go outside the stomach, and a Parasaurolophus skeleton.
They realized that when tyrannosaurs were at a young age, they went for small dinosaurs, such as these guys, their dino cousins. As they grew older, they started taking on bigger challenges, like those peaceful giant dinosaurs that like to hang out with their group and eat plants.
Herbivores are anything but peaceful. The T-Rex has a few options. The Triceratops, the Ammontosaurus, the Ankylosaurus, and the Alamosaurus. The Alamosaurus is a just stupid option because the Alamosaurus is just too big. The Triceratops and Ankylosaurus are also very dangerous for the T-Rex, as they have weapons that can defend themselves and could even severely damage or even kill the T-Rex. The Ammontosaurus, on the other hand, does not have weapons, but it can use its entire body as a weapon, meaning that even if the Ammontosaurus technically does not have any weapons from the outside, because it's so damn big and its whole structure, body structure, it can just use its entire body, its entire weight force against the T-Rex. If a T-Rex tries to hunt a large herbivore in its environment, you would expect a T-Rex to be severely damaged afterwards if it hunts alone.
But large predators weren't the only ones that would have made you shiver with fear. That was also the time when fast and smart creatures called Velociraptors.
Not only is there horrible CGI, but they're also showing the shrink-wrapped, scaly raptor
show up. They weren't some scaly dinosaurs that would catch their prey using those claws in the shape of sickles, like shown in the movies.
So why did you use them in your effortless CGI then? I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm just being honest.
Their bodies were covered in feathers, and they would grow up to 100 pounds, which is about the size of a wolf.
They probably could reach double that. 200 pounds, 90 kilograms.
And to bust one more myth, they didn't hunt in packs. Velociraptors probably prefer to hunt solo and use their claws not to slash their prey, but to clutch it.
There is the hypothetical preying method known as the raptor prey restraint, in which they leap onto their prey, pinning it under their body weight, and gripping it tightly with the large sickle-shaped claws.
T-Rex and Velociraptor fall into the group called theropods. We mentioned them at the beginning, the creatures today's birds evolved from. But even though velociraptors were covered with feathers, they still couldn't fly. Their wishbones weren't shaped in a way to support flying, and their arms were too short. Maybe it was better that way because during the Cretaceous period, flying dinosaurs called pterodons.
You said that these were pterosaurs, and now you're saying these are flying My grammar has been destroyed because of myself, actually.
Were the ones that took over the skies. Things had been going really great for dinosaurs until one unfortunate day 66 million years ago when an asteroid hit our planet. It's not that the asteroid itself erased all the dinosaurs right away, but it caused changes in the environment, which made it way harder to survive. At that time, about 75% of animals living on our planet went extinct.
You're showing modern Earth with all these lights instead of an Earth 66 million years ago with all of its continents 66 million years ago.
The asteroid was really big. When it hit Earth, it created a giant crater in the Yucatan Peninsula and sent a lot of debris into the atmosphere, which blocked the sun right away. For months, dense clouds of dust blocked sunlight. Our home planet was darker and colder than before, which wasn't good for plants. Creatures that ate plants couldn't survive those changes either. So it all turned into a chain reaction when most of the ecosystem collapsed.
Since the sun got blocked out, the plants could not do photosynthesis, which means that herbivores cannot eat plants and then they starve to death. And then the carnivores, once they run out of herbivores to eat, they also starve to death.
When the dust finally cleared, all those greenhouse gases that had formed after the impact made temperatures go way higher than they had been in a really short period of time. All land animals that weighed more than 55 pounds were gone. But not everything disappeared. There were fewer plants, but they were less affected than animals, all because their pollen and seeds can survive really messed up conditions for a longer time. So, what we have today is basically the seeds we were left with back then.
Okay, how do I respond to this? Okay, so obviously plants began to bloom once the skies had cleared out once again, and lots of plants just continued to evolve and all that. Many of them formed the seeds we know today over periods of millions and millions of years. I don't really know how to answer this without accidentally getting something wrong or anything.
After the asteroid hit, flowering plants dominated our planet.
How these plants grew back so fast is because of secondary succession, where there was a lot of organic materials. There were plants that were there before the asteroid and all of its consequences reduced an already established ecosystem, and therefore there is a lot of soil.
All non-bird dinosaurs went extinct too. Some species survived as birds. At first, those brave survivors were small, but later, birds evolved to bigger sizes. Now, there's a study that says that if the asteroid had slammed into some other spot on Earth, the fate of many creatures and plants would have been very different. If the rock had fallen maybe a couple of minutes later, it would have hit deeper waters. Less rock would have vaporized and risen to block out the warmth and light coming from the sun.
Or maybe if it hit other parts, like the ocean, for example. It still would have been a really, really bad time, but at least there wouldn't be a mass extinction that caused the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs.
In that scenario, we'd probably still have dinosaurs around. For example, Triceratops was one of the last dinos that had nothing in common with birds. If the asteroid had missed our planet, we would see some of them still roaming around.
The problem is that there will be no humans roaming around in this alternate universe because dinosaurs continue to dominate the ecosystem.
But since evolution never rests, maybe in a little bit different form. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.
Okay, so I guess this video is at least somewhat legit. According to me, at least. I can give Brightside credit, but what I cannot give Brightside credit for is the sheer amount of crazy AI and horrible CGI when they could have made a much better animation based on how much budget the Soul Publishing has. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you all next time.